again. So, I'm going to report on my Tikka 300 Winchester short magnum rifle, which I purchased second hand, and the impression that I got was that it's seen a lot of work. It's a T3, not a T3X, so it's probably got, I mean, I haven't looked up the serial number, so I don't know exactly when it was manufactured, but I think it's an old rifle. The muzzle brake that's on it is, I'd say, an aftermarket muzzle brake. I don't think that's the original muzzle brake. I have tried to get it off, but by golly, they've either soldered it on or araldite, glued it on, because I couldn't get it off full of them. I didn't want to damage it. So muzzle brake can stay on there. It's pretty dirty now. I need to soak it in something like maybe cleaning vinegar overnight or over a couple of nights to really get all the carbon, eat all the carbon off. But I'm not going to do that tonight because I'm going to the range again tomorrow. So today's Sunday. So on Friday, was it Friday? Yeah. So I'll tell you what happened. I'll explain things. So trying to get brass for 300 WSM, 300 Winchester short mag, trying to get empty cases, new empty cases it's not easy. It's not easy to do. For whatever reason, I don't know, the manufacturers have neglected the 300 WSM, or I don't know why. But, so, I want to get Lapua cases, 300 WSM Lapua cases. Chances of that happening are, yeah, I've probably got more chance of winning the lottery. And guess what? All the cases that are available are Norma. So there's a few online shops here in Australia who do have Norma, but you're looking at $200. You're looking at between 180. So the prices that I saw for a box of 50 Norma cases, 300 WSM cases, they're either 185 or 192. That's for 50 cases. Now, I was that close to hitting the pay button a few times over the last, over the last month, because I've been working a fair bit, not the last month, but the last couple of weeks. Oh man, I got so close. I had all the details in, and then go to pay, and I just went, no. Because I promised myself, remember I said I would not buy Norma cases again, and I didn't. I tell you what I did. So I rang up Hall's Gun Shop in Townsville, and I said, do you have any 300 Winchester short magnum ammunition? And I was told, yep. We've got 3 boxes of this stuff, which is Winchester Deer Season XP, 300 WSM 150 grain extreme point. Now these projectiles have got a massive, and I mean a massive, or did have, polymer projectile on them. I shot the lot off. So I got 3 boxes of 20. One box was marked as $55, which is clearly old, and the other 2 boxes were $75. So I paid $205 all up to 60 rounds, complete rounds, alright? That's cheaper than buying a box of 50, so I've got 60 cases now, so I shot 60 rounds off, I've got 60 cases now, so that is cheaper than if I had bought 50 cases of Norma, because delivery would have been on top of that, so you're probably looking between 15 and $20. So, yeah. was going to say F you Norma, and I do mean it, you know. I don't know what you think your brass is made of, but it's second rate. So, with that, now, what was I expecting out of this stuff? So I pretty much bought this just for the brass. I bought 60 rounds just for the brass, right? So was I expecting any good results? Not really. No, I wasn't expecting any good results at all. Two reasons. I measured the comparative overall length, so that how far the bullet was seated in, and there was out of 60 rounds there was a 53,000 spread from the shortest to the longest. 53. I mean, come on, Owen Winchester. What is your bullet seating process? How shit is it? How clapped out is your machinery that 53,000 spread? I mean, that's rubbish. Now, after I started shooting it, the other reason why I wasn't expecting a whole lot was because the primers were seriously flattened out. This shit is overcharged. All right, the pressures are too high. It's too much. It's supposed to be going at 32 at the muzzle, 3260 feet per second. Yeah, it's pretty fast, and they're achieving that by just, I don't know, putting dynamite in the cases, because yeah, that's the worst flattening of primers that I've experienced. So yeah, they were definitely overcharged. But without further ado, I'll tell you what happened. I'll try and get, yeah, that's better. You can see that now. Something that's bright, you know. I'm just going to let you see. So, as you can see there, so these are the first three shots of that Winchester deer season. 1.1. I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, considering that I'd figured out a load for 200 grain projectiles, and here are these 150 grain projectiles, and they produce an alright 3-shot group. Then, so with that 53,000 spread in bullet seating, in comparative overall length, it wasn't like there was a whole, like there was 2 or 3 big groups and then sort of small outliers. It was all over the place, so I couldn't really, so I just sort of clumped, you know, some together here and some together there, because yeah, quite literally the comparative overall length was literally just scattered across the board. I would have had like, I don't know, 40 different overall lengths. So this is a 4-shot group, that's 2, a 3-shot group 0.96, a 4-shot group 1.8, a 5-shot group 1.8. Let's see here. A 5-shot group 1.35, a 5-shot group 1.3, a 5-shot group 1.8, and a 5-shot group 2.7. Now, you might be thinking, look, you know, that's not that bad, all right? And considering I was shooting 5-shot groups, but you get this sort of 2-group affair happening, and 2-group affair, that one just spread everywhere. So 5 shots 1.3, 5 shots 2.1, there's 2 groups, 5 shots 1.4, 5 shots 1.58. So it's a pretty special rifle that can handle 200 grain projectiles and 150 grain projectiles with relative accuracy. I say relative, you know. Yeah, try the loosest possible context. Pardon me, I have to rehydrate. Scottish ale. I love Scottish beer. So, what I did was, after having not disgusting results with that 150 grain Winchester ammo, and I've said it ad nauseum that my experiences with Winchester centerfire ammo is that it's junk. It's not junk, it's just second-rate rubbish, and I'm not the only person of that opinion. That's through experience. I don't give a shit who makes the ammunition. I don't give a shit who sells the ammunition. If it's good, I'll tell you it's good. If it's shit, I'll tell you it's shit. And generally speaking, my experience with Winchester centerfire ammunition is that it's been shit. There's only 2 instances, 2 calibers where I can say that it was good, and that is because they used to make 17 Hornet ammo. They don't anymore. Hornet are the only ones that make it anymore. So that 17 Hornet ammo that I got, that was good. Their rimfire ammo is pretty good. I've had good results with that. Not spectacular, but decent. And the 458 Winchester Magnum Super X ammo that I got, I've still got a few rounds, I think. That's good. Like 3-shot groups, like around an inch out of a 48 Win Mag with firepower scope. Unreal. Now, so considering that those 150 grain groups were not shit, yesterday I got to work, I processed those 60 cases, I refurbished them, and I put together this 165 grain hollow point boat tail Game Kings, and they're a different type of Game King, not your usual soft point. They're a hollow point, using AR-2208, which is Varget. I've got it all in here, which is Varget, with CCI 250 large rifle Magnum primers. What else? With a lead crimp. So the brass has been fired once. One odd thing about this Winchester brass is straight on firing. I've got a deformation in the head at the bottom of the case. Now, I have a feeling that may be because that stuff was so hot, like it was overpressured. There was too much powder in there, or I don't know what they did wrong, but yeah, it was too much pressure. So 165 grain high, because I thought, you know what, I'm not going to try 150 because I can definitely make better ammunition than Winchester, you know. And a lot of the reasons why those groups were, not the greatest was because it was made by Winchester. If I used all those same components, the brass, the primers, the projectiles and the powder, and I put them together, they would be better. Like, you know, seriously, a blind man with no arms could put together better ammunition than Winchester's. My apologies to the blind and people without arms. So, 165 grain hollow point boat tail Game Kings. Now, I've been using H4350, which is AR-2209, because there was no recipe for AR-2208 Varget that I could see in either of the 3 books that I have. But for 165, for the lighter projectiles, there is a Varget recipe, AR-2208. So I went with that, and I went from 54 grains to 58.5 grains, which is, I think their upper limit is 58, but I always like to go like a grain or 2 over, or half a grain or a grain over, because their uppermost charge weights are usually a few grains under. For obvious reasons, I mean, for legal reasons, because if someone blows themselves up, blows their brains out, because their rifle blows up, well, yeah, it's not going to be good. Alright, I know, you're getting impatient, you're going, show us the bloody targets. Yeah, alright, here we go. So, I cleaned the rifle. So all of these groups, except for the exception of one, I think. All these groups, I shot 3 shots, I cleaned it, not spotless clean, but I cleaned it, got most of the carbon out, and let it, if not cool, it's pretty hard to cool when it's, you know, a hot day, but to where if I can hold the barrel, then that's cool enough. So, first 3 shots of 54 grains of Varget, 0.93. These are all 3-shot groups. I'm not going to do 5-shot groups when I'm experimenting, you know, later on, yeah. So, straight up, first 3 shots, 0.93, and I went, yippee! Sort of. I really want the heavier projectiles to be, you know, be what it likes. So I do actually have 30 175 grainers made up of Sierra Mash Kings, but I'll shoot that tomorrow. So 54.5 grains, 0.68. 55 grains, 0.68. 55.5 grains, 1.2. 56 grains, 0.7. Now, let's remember here that if you've not actually looked through a Leopold VX Freedom, you will not appreciate just how chunky that reticle is. And when I'm lining those crosshairs up with 12 power on these targets, yeah, it's not the easiest thing to do, but somehow or other, I managed to do it. Like, I'm quite literally almost covering. The crosshairs on this are almost covering that black circle. So it's a bit tricky. I should be using single targets with a big circle and a cross, so I can line it up. But anyway, regardless of those impediments, this thing is magic. 56.5 grains. 56.5 grains, 0.53. Look at that, stacked like dimes. 57 grains, 0.42. Perfect clover leaf. Man, you reckon I wasn't getting a woody over this? Sorry. It's not a kids program anyway. 57.5 grains, 0.98. 58 grains, 1.1. And that's when I thought, yeah, alright, there's too much powder, it's starting to spread out. And 58.5 grains, 0.55. So, it's fair to say that, with the exception of 1, 2, so 2 targets out of 10 have just gone over an inch, and when I'm talking just gone over an inch, one's 1.2 and the other one is 1.1. What that tells me is that 165 grain projectiles are very conducive to accuracy through this barrel in this rifle. I was hoping to use this rifle with heavier projectiles. I mean, look at that. That's 200 grain projectiles. 0.6. No? But so that was, I think that was a cold shot. That was the first 2. Yeah, it was. That was 200 grain projectiles. Cold barrel, bang. In the bullseye, straight up. I mean, to be able to do that with 200 grain projectiles and to be able to shoot, you know, how many of these are under half an inch? 1, not many of them. But like most of them are around, yeah, around that, you know, half an inch, just over half an inch. I think that looking at this, for, oh man, 56 and a half, 56. You know what, I'm going to make up some more of these and go between 56 and 57 Yeah, 56 and 57 grains, I think. I don't know. Wow, this is excellent, excellent results, excellent results. So I've got that ammo made up with 175 grain projectiles. I didn't shoot it today, and I'll tell you why. I'm quite honest about when I make a mistake. I primed. I did it all last night, and it was one of those long nights again, in which I said I'm not going to do it again, but I did. I didn't seat the primers properly on those 175 grain loads. The primers are proud, so I've got to go through now and just reseat everything. Yeah, because I had the same with these, but I actually noticed and I reseated all of them, which I didn't do with the 170 grainers. Yeah, that was an error on my part. So what I'll do is I'll go now and reseat those projectiles, have everything ready to go, and then go tomorrow morning and shoot them off, and then go to the gun shop and either get some more of these if they've got them, the 165 grain hollow point boat tail Game Kings, which seem to be a new hunting projectile that I wasn't aware of, or I'll get 175 grain 175 grain Game Kings, because this is a hunting rifle. So once I go to the range tomorrow, shoot those 175s. If I have outstanding results like I've had here with the 165s, I'll go with 175 grain projectiles, because the heavier the better, and I'll see what happens there. So until tomorrow, and I shoot those 175 grain Match Kings through this, until then, see you later. Oh yeah, I just wanted to say, I want to apologise to Tikka. Alright, I want to apologise to Tikka, because I have been scathing of a lot of things about Tikkas. Alright, I don't like magazine pokes. Even a 3-round magazine pokes out. Your bottom metal is plastic. The recoil pad that I took off this, have I got it here? The recoil pad that I took off this thing, the original Tikka recoil pad, where is it? I think I threw it away. I was so disgusted by it. It was, the recoil pad was, what's an appropriate word? A joke. It wasn't a recoil pad. I mean, for God's sake, we're talking about a 300 Winchester short magnum in a really light rifle, and you put that piece of shit recoil pad on there. Tikka, come on. That's bullshit. So, luckily, as I said before, I did have, it's blowing away. I did have a Tikka Limb Saver recoil pad, which I think I bought it to graft onto a tower, or I don't know what I bought it for, but I never butchered it. So that makes a huge difference. Like, I don't have any shoulder soreness, you know. I just shot 30 rounds of 300 Winchester short mag through this, and that muzzle brake, I think it does anything. So anyway, enough talking. Until I come back from the range tomorrow, see you later.